change, I really couldn't say. In this life there's nothing certain, except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today. Except the curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known that would have kept me from the one I had today.
Oh, good morning. Here we go. If you're watching us on social media, you see my friend Danny Atchley is in the house. And this is 1100 WSGI. Now, this is Danavan Hylton's day. Yes, Donovan's going to be in here in just a minute. But we had to just kind of take a second and bring Danny in here because this is a big stinking weekend. I'm so excited. Let me see my shirt. This is so awesome. So, go. You're on.
I'm
Hello.
Sorry. All right,
yeah.
We'll go ahead.
We're just talking.
Yeah. All right.
Come
Well,
on.
all right. I was waiting for the introduction. So there we go.
What more introduction do you
from
want?
All right. That's a good one. And yes, that is a not a complimentary T-shirt, but that is a souvenir T-shirt that we are selling at the museum this weekend. That's promoting the last days of Frank and Jesse James Festival, which is a fundraiser for the Robertson County History Museum. And we're excited about this weekend. We've got all kinds of things planned for this weekend. The gates will open at 11 o'clock. And like I said, it's a fundraiser for the museum. So the tickets are $10 each, and that will get you into the festival, which is all downtown, in and around the courthouse square in front of the museum, from Locust Street over to Main Street, and then West Court Square, and also 6th Avenue, which is one big L there. We're going to have live music. We're going to have, excuse me, just a second. I'm having one of those moments where we talk about blacksmiths, and we've got all kinds of other craftsmen, basket makers, wood makers, leather craft makers, just you name it. We've got it up there for our Pioneer Craft Village. And we're excited about that. And like I said, we've got live music that will be performing throughout the day and the afternoon. And then also, probably the biggest event that I've ever been involved with is we're going to have a reenactment of the Jesse James Gang riding into Springfield circa 1868. And they're going to come in, men on horseback, and they're going to rob the City Bank of Springfield, again, circa 1868, and then ride out. But before they ride out, there will be some, shall we say, gunplay taking place in front of the History Museum. So all that will take place at high noon. Men on horseback riding down Main Street and turning left onto 6th Avenue and coming up to where the museum is, which is going to double as the City Bank of Springfield, and we're excited about it. The same people, let me just finish this one last
you're fine,
sentence.
you're fine, keep talking.
All right, the fellas that do, for years over in Russellville, they've had a reenactment of a bank robbery over there. And the fellas that are doing that have done it over there in years past are the same ones that are coming to Springfield to be our reenactors of the James Gang. Now, the James Gang never actually robbed a bank in Springfield, at least as far as we know. no records of it, but they did in Russellville. But we do know that the James gang were very active in Robertson County. In fact, I don't know how many people I've met that are actually related to Jesse James or to the younger gang.
Yeah.
It's incredible how many people.
We had this conversation yesterday.
Yeah,
I think we're
you're
supposed to be connected.
Yeah, but
everybody.
But it seems like every other person I talk to. Oh yeah, my great grandfather told me that I was related to Jesse James.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what's
we're proud about it. Really, he was an outlaw.
He was an outlaw.
It's like not somebody you really want to hold up. You know.
He did some
so
bad
crazy.
things, but anyway, it's part of the lore. And the reason we're doing this too, Laverne, is back in 1985. Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, and Willie Nelson decided to make a movie, a made-for-TV movie. It appeared on NBC. And so they chose Springfield, of all places, that they could have made a movie in Hollywood or wherever, but they chose Springfield, and they did it in the fall of 1985, and they brought in tons and tons and tons of dirt and covered the entire square all the way around the courthouse. They painted many of the buildings that circle the square, circle the courthouse, to make them look like an old western town in 1868. And anyway, so Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson came up here, and they filmed several scenes in and around the courthouse.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's actually a made-for-TV video that we've shown on Smoky Barn News, and also, but anyway, and it goes into great detail about the making of the movie. And it's just as cool as it can be. But just imagine, and there's plenty of photos of Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson, when they were here in Springfield, because they were here for several days. And a lot of people in Springfield and Robertson County were extras or even worked for the movie production. So that's the reason we're doing this. We wanted to celebrate that fact, and we thought, well, this would be fun, and let's see if we can't pull off a festival. So that's what we're doing. I do want to give a shout out to Brad Moreland. Brad Moreland is one of our Robertson County Historical Society members, and he came to us months ago and says, I got a great idea for maybe an event that we could do with the Robertson County History Museum. And I said, what's that, Brad? He says, well, let's celebrate the making of the movie, The Last Days of Frank and Jesse James. So that little idea of Brad Moreland's has germinated into this festival that we've got coming up Saturday. It'll go from noon well, actually, the gates will open at 11 o'clock. There will be only one entrance. You'll have to come through the Locust Street 6th Avenue side. Everything else will be closed because it is a fundraiser. But we got a kid zone. Like I said, we got food trucks. Santa Fe will be there. Numerous other vendors as well, such as Witt's Barbecue, Lady Dogs, amazing glazing fried pies, Heads Farms, and Retro Monkey Snow and Twisted Sugar. We're also going to have a face painter there for the kids. We're going to have a kids zone as well. And that's Mary McCauley who does the face painting called Chameleon Faces. And anyway, it's just an exciting time. We're excited about it and thrilled to be able to talk about it.
I'm so excited. And the reason I'm so stoked about this is because when I love old history stuff. I mean, anything that kind of tells me about history. And I mean, this is, you know, this kind of, they really lived. These are people from our history. And I love the fact that it was shot here. And so when I hear about this, I don't know, many years ago, I started trying to get a copy of the movie and could not. And I mean, it just wasn't available. And when I met you, that was one of the first things I think I asked you is like, what's this about this movie that was shot here? And you started telling me about it. And and at that time you said, well, maybe one of these days we'll show it because there was a few copies around. And so the movie's going to be playing.
Yes, the movie will be playing. We're going to have it over in the 638 underhang, or the patio as we call it now, which will be right across the street from the museum. It'll be running throughout the afternoon.
Okay.
You know, if you want to sit down and watch it and cool off, you can. We're also going to have a misting station there that's provided to us by Bath Fitter here in town. They're supporting us, and so we're excited about that. And then, but the movie will be showing continuously throughout the day. Okay.
And tell me the hours of the event again.
The event, all right. The gates open at 11 o'clock, but the bank robbery reenactment will take place at high noon.
High noon.
High noon, and then it'll run till the whole festival will run till about 8 o'clock that night.
Okay.
Our big musical act that day is going to be let me just start off with the music that we've got going. We've got Credenda. We've also got
Credenda's fabulous, by the way. I've had them in here.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, love them.
We're
they're
excited
wonderful.
about them.
Wonderful.
They're going to be in it. And then also the Andrew Dossett, who's a great local artist here in town. He's going to be with us. And then also the Inglewood Old Time String Band will be playing. And And then
all these guys are great.
We've got Howard Decker and the Cosmic Cowboys. That's our big
fun.
act at the end of the day. They will close out the music for us. And like I said, all that will be taking place on the courthouse square.
It's going to be a great day. It is going to be so much fun. Have you? How's our weather holding up? Have you checked the weather?
The weather is typical August. Yeah. Possibility of rain, but
pop-up shower. It'll cool you off.
But it's like that every day this week.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
We're not. It's going to be rain or shine. We can't. The bank robbers are coming no matter what. The James gang is coming no matter what we do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love it. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And here's the thing. So Danny surprised me, and he brought in a couple of tickets for us to give away here on WSGI. And because these phone lines just are kind of persnickety, I don't want to do that. So the first person, and I'm going to watch the time on here on the comments, first person that gets on here and says, I want those tickets. I want those tickets. Put that in comments, and I will give you these tickets, but we got to figure out how to get them to you sometime between now and then. I'll have to meet you somewhere to that degree, but you put on here, I want those tickets, and you get these tickets, but we'll have to hook up, and we'll figure that out in Messenger in a little bit. But this is going to be a great time. I'm going. He blessed me with some tickets too, and I appreciate that. I'm picking up Ukrainian missionaries on Friday, and I just really want to bring them so bad. And I told you I had you something. I want those tickets, Gene. Blink, you got them, sweetheart. We just got to figure out how to get a hold of you. But now I had said I've got you something for the Robertson County players, and this is kind of, we put glasses on people down in Mexico, and it's Lions Club donated glasses. So I'm going through glasses while I'm down there, and we pull these out of the box. And of course, nobody down there is going to want to wear these old timey glasses. And what's really interesting about them is the lenses are just clear. There's nothing to them. I thought y'all could put those in costumes.
Oh yeah,
isn't that kind of cool? For the Robertson County, but I just thought that was kind of funny.
Thank you.
And as soon as I saw those, because they tell us to kind of filter through and things that people wouldn't want and stuff, but isn't that cute?
That is.
Let me turn the camera.
I think my grandmother used to
there you
wear
go. Show
some of
them to the camera there. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, aren't they cute? But I thought that's a costume prop right there. That's a costume prop to me, but very cute. So those are for the Robertson County players, and we're going to be having those guys in September 9th, I want to say. Going to be talking about You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
You're a Good Man, Charlie
Brown. And I always have to bring you into that because you're so associated with them as well.
I am associated with the players, of course, have been for over 40 years since they were founded in 1978, which I'm excited about that. And then also thank you for all your promotion, helping us promote the Steel Magnolias, which was one of the biggest hits we've had in years, and that was a lot of fun, and we had great audiences. We had a wonderful show. I mean, really, the actresses that played the part were just perfect, and then we had a great production team. Of course, we did it in the beautiful Springfield Middle School auditorium, and that's just such a great venue. One thing I want to double back to about the festival, I definitely want to mention our sponsors, because we do have some very important sponsors: F&M Bank and Farm Bureau Insurance, the Credit Union for Robertson County. I mentioned Smoky Barn News. Smoky Barn is also a sponsor for the festival, as well as Reiselman Buick GMC. And also, this is a partnership, the festival is, between the Robertson County Historical Society, or the History Museum, and the Springfield Parks and Recreation Department. They do such great work here in Springfield. Yep. We are blessed to have a wonderful city government. And Terry Martin, who heads up Parks and Recreation down there, he is doing a great job.
Lot of fun. I've had him in. He's a hoot.
He is a hoot is the word. Hoot.
He's a hoot. But anyway, I'm going to be there. I can't wait to see this. It's going to be a lot of fun on Saturday. I'll probably be there off and on throughout the day. If I can get them to let me bring the Ukraine missionaries out there, I just think that'd be cool because you and I talked about the fact that people from other countries are intrigued by our Western heritage.
Yeah.
And so I think we were trying to share with them some Nashville things. What better than to come to our little festival? And we've got such a cool little town. So maybe, but I'll be there for sure.
Well, bring them in and introduce me to them.
If they get to come, they're fascinating people. But Danny Atchley, and he is, what are you, the president of the?
I'm the president of the Robertson County Historical Society.
Right. I forget if it's president or chairman. I knew you were the top
board chair.
President. Yeah. Okay.
It's
I forget exactly what I'm supposed to call you.
Well, just call me Danny.
There you go. You got it. Danny Atchley with us, talking about the filming of the last days of Frank and Jesse James. We're going to be able to enjoy just this fun festival and just commemorating this very cool time in our very cool town. They just shot another music video.
Oh yeah.
Here, I mean,
all over town.
it is the coolest little town.
They set off our burglar alarm, by the way, at the museum.
Oh, they did. Nice. That's so funny. So we're going to be in another video. But before you go, too, you mentioned that there was a piece on Smokey Barnes. Is that something we can still see? Is it like a behind the scenes?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal.
And also, there is a video out there of what they did up in Russellville when they robbed the bank up there, the reenactment, I should say.
Okay.
That should be on there as well.
On Smokey Barnes.
So you can go to our Facebook page too.
And it's on there as well.
Robertson County Historical Society
and
Facebook page.
A friend of mine said you can now get the movie on Amazon. Is that a thing? So there is
so.
ways to purchase it. Because I know when I tried to purchase it, I couldn't. But that's cool that you can.
Yeah.
And this is part of our history.
It's a good movie. I thought it was one of Johnny
I love
Cash's
Johnny Cash.
better movies. And Chris Christopherson was.
Oh yeah, I mean you can't beat him.
A really good actor.
Yeah.
One of my favorites.
But
you could tell those guys were having a good time when they were making the movie.
Sure.
One more interesting tidbit about the movie: a lot of us Democrats remember John J. Hooker and how he was a candidate for governor for 2 or 3 times, ran unsuccessfully against Winfield Dunn back in 1970 and lost in a very close race. Well, John J. Hooker also appears in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah. In
that's
the movie,
fun.
They used the big courtroom in the courthouse for the trial of Frank James. At the end, after his brother Jesse was killed, Frank James turned himself into the Missouri government, and so they held a couple of trials for him. Well, they recreated one of the trials in the courthouse here in Springfield in the main courtroom, and John J. Hooker was Frank James' attorney, portrayed Frank James' attorney. Yeah,
that's great. I love it.
Little bit of trivia.
That's great.
So when you watch the movie, you'll see John J. Hooker.
Okay, the stars. Okay, who played Frank and who played? Do you remember?
Johnny Cash played Frank, the older.
Okay.
And then Chris Christopherson, of course, played. Jesse.
He played Jesse.
He played Jesse.
Okay.
And then the thing about it is, and Chris says in this making of the movie video that when he was younger, his pictures, or he resembled a lot like, or looked a lot like Jesse James.
Interesting.
People have said that.
Interesting.
Interesting.
This is going to be fun.
To play the part.
That's going to be fun. I'm going to be one of those sitting there watching the movie because I want to see the movie. But anyway,
watch it.
Very good stuff. Thank you, Danny Atchley, for coming in and giving us a little, giving us some heads up about this. And we'll be promoting it for the rest of this week. And yes, I will be wearing the shirt on Friday to make sure everybody knows.
And we've got those on sale at the museum, $20.
Oh, and I love
complimentary, limited amount. And this is something that you're going to want to bring. It's a great T-shirt. And by the way, I want to be sure and mention Molly B. Creative. Terry Mars.
Yeah, beautiful job. Beautiful job.
The best advertising company we've got in Robertson County, and one of the best in Middle Tennessee. Terry and Amy do a wonderful job up there. They've done a lot of work for us for the Historical Society and the Players and Chamber of Commerce and other organizations here in Springfield, and they deserve our support. And if you need business, go to Molly B. Creative. I recommend them highly. Very good. Very good promotion. Thank you, Danny. Come in anytime. Just let me know. All right. And we're going to
And we are, you're very welcome. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick break here. Let's talk about Reiselman. You know, they're one of the sponsors of this wonderful event. So I'm going to talk about Reiselman Buick GMC while you guys make the switch. You can go and tell them that I've got to get y'all to make a switch. All right, tell them they're on, and I'll see you Saturday, my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you, Danny. And we're going to go ahead and talk about Reiselman Buick GMC because they're one of the sponsors for the festival, and they step up and do that a lot. I've seen their name on a lot of sponsor lists, and proud to know them. Good friends, and you just need to get by there and get to know Todd Reiselman, Todd and Courtney Reiselman. They picked Robertson County because they saw the things that Hollywood sees when they look at Robertson County. It's just a cool place. It's just a cool place to live and to build a business. And that's what they did is they came in and they said, hey, we're going to come in and we're going to do what we feel is kind of our calling. They had been in the auto industry for a long time, and when they decided it's time to buy a business and to go ahead and work with a dealership, they scoured the country and they found the one here in Springfield that was available, and they said, we want to go there. And so they picked us, and I just love that. But they've got GMC and Buick, all those makes and models. Those are vehicles that are still being produced at a higher rate, unlike a lot of sedans and things. So with the chip issue, you can still get trucks, SUVs, and sports utilities. Todd says it's just different. Why don't you order them? If you're one of those that likes to trade every year or two, he goes, anticipate when you're going to want a new vehicle, come in and order it. That way you're not driving around trying to find it in a low inventory market right now. And he says when it gets here, it's yours. These people that never thought about ordering a vehicle have decided, man, that's the way I want to go. So all kinds of great options for you at Reiselman Buick GMC. They're located at 2516 Memorial Boulevard. They have certified pre-owned vehicles as well, low-mile pre-owns, and just a great pre-owned lot as well. They've got leasing and financing options available and a service department to back up all that warranty. All those warranties that you have on these vehicles when you come out and get a pre-owned that's got just low enough miles on it, still got some of that warranty. And they are there working every single day that the dealership is open. The hours vary from the service department to the dealership, but the dealership hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. until 6 p.m. Reiselman Buick GMC. Be sure and stop by there and tell them thank you for sponsoring One Street Over, and thank them for being one of our sponsors for the last days of Frank and Jesse James. That is going to be an awful lot of fun. And now in the house, Danavan Hylton is here, and you brought a guest. I'm just going to let you introduce your guest. Pull that microphone on up there too. You're going to need to be right on that. And Danavan, thank you for very graciously giving us part of your time today, because Danny called me and said, man, we got to promote this event because it's a big deal here in the city. And so with that said, you're going to come in next week as well.
That's
so
correct.
We're going to give you the time back and then some. So anyway, Danavan, who'd you bring with you?
I have my good friend Robert Nash here with me today, and he's going to join us for the rest of the show.
Okay.
And like you said, U-turn, just a disclaimer, our friend Neo Chauffeur is going to join us same time next week, because this is it's a different conversation this time around. One, as you know, we were working on the Coopertown Middle School project. We didn't really get a chance to get an update about that, so I do apologize. But as you can see, life moves, and we're on to an activity that's also essential, and which happens to be a district attorney candidate race, if you will. And so the guests I'm going to have on the show, and I'm open to having as many guests that are candidates on the show. The idea is to introduce them and make sure that the community residents are informed of who the candidates are and what is a district attorney and why it's so important to be aware.
That. Absolutely.
So thank you for allowing me to squeeze this in.
I love this. I love that you reached out with this idea because it's something that we wanted to do. Now, the election's not tomorrow. Right. So when is the election? Go ahead, Robert. You want to go ahead and tell us when the election's happening?
Primaries in May of next year.
Get right on top of that.
The primaries in May of next year.
Okay.
With the election in August.
Okay, so you are running, you say it's a primary then, or what side of the ticket are you on then?
Well, I'm a Republican.
I know the answer to all this, So I mean, I was the Republican chairman for a while, so I know the answer to all this. But we are primarying now, and so because of that, the primary election will be in May, and then, like you said, the actual election then in August. August. So I'll hand it back to you, Donovan.
Yes.
So
yes, and again, U-turn. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
This is part of our growing relationship, and again. Good morning, everyone, and shout out to U-turn, shout out to my family, shout out to everyone that's parents and children getting ready to start school or going through that process. And thank you for allowing me to take this show to talk about something that really is important, especially in the communities that I serve.
Right.
And I want to introduce Mr. Robert Nash. And
Good morning.
thank you, sir. Yeah, and I do have a couple of questions here, but more so, we may not get into the questions. I want to really just share Robert's story and his motivations as to why he would like to run, so we can all make an educated decision. And so, with that being said, I just want to give you a little background about Mr. Nash. Robert has called Clarksville, Montgomery County his home for over 40 years and is a proud graduate of Northeast High School. After graduating Austin Peay State University and the Nashville School of Law, he began his legal career as an associate attorney with Clarksville firm Sharon Massey Grimes and Carrie Gassaway. His practice consisted primarily of child custody, divorce, civil litigation, and criminal defense. In 2007, Robert was recruited by the district attorney, the Honorable John W. Carney Jr., to honor his team of prosecutors. And as an assistant district attorney, Robert is mainly assigned cases involving crimes of violence, such as kidnapping, robbery, and murder. And a fun fact, Robert is a married and a family man. And again, Robert, thank you so much for joining the show.
Danavan, thank you for having me. And Laverne, thank you.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
Good morning, Robertson County.
All right.
So you had said, I thought it was very interesting. One of the first things that you said when you sat down is, what is a district attorney? Some people don't even realize. I've had a lot of conversations with different law enforcement people, and a lot of the times, specifically, what do they do? And I think it's always interesting. And I think we might be a little more familiar, for sure, what the district attorney does. But why don't you clarify it for those who might not know? Here, I'm trying to pretend like I know, but why don't you tell everybody else? But anyway, so go ahead.
The district attorney and its staff are responsible for prosecuting criminal infractions. So when the police arrest someone, police arrest a person or a crime has been committed, it's investigated, it comes to the district attorney's office, we decide what infractions have been committed, what crimes, we either take an arrest warrant or we take it to the grand jury and indict them. So we review an investigation of the police, and then we prosecute. We're the attorney for the state of Tennessee.
Okay. And I know, Danavan, you were, some of the questions that you gave to me, like the history of the district attorney. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? Because I know that you've got that in your notes here.
Absolutely. So Article 6, I believe, Section 5 of the Tennessee Constitution established the office of the district attorney and provides that the district attorney shall be the elected by the qualified voters of that district to hold office for 8 years. And let's see, as far as what the general attorney does, the district attorney and his or her staff prosecute all, and like Mr. Nash said, prosecute all criminal cases on behalf of the citizens of the state of Tennessee.
Very
That's
good.
correct.
That is huge.
So as far as, who is holding this office right now?
John Carney.
Okay. Is he retiring?
He is retiring.
Okay.
August 31st of this year is his last day.
So that's one of the interesting aspects of this. And so there's going to have to be an appointee, right?
Yes.
So how does that process work?
Well, there's 6 people that have submitted their cover letter and resume
Right.
to be considered for the position by the governor. Now,
Okay.
that process has already started.
Okay.
So it is ongoing.
Okay. And so how soon will we know who the appointee is going to be?
Good question.
Do you have any idea?
Do not.
Don't have any clue.
No.
Because anybody that's followed politics, anything that comes with an election, if somebody, whoever gets into an appointed position is going to have a leg up on it. It's going to have a little bit of, it's going to give them a little bit of an advantage. That's the word I'm looking for.
It could.
It could. Yeah. Let's put parse it with. It's possible to give them an advantage. So it's a position that I'm guessing you want. the appointed position?
I have applied to be
I kind of
appointed.
figured.
Okay.
I kind of figured.
Sure.
That, I would have.
That's right.
That's probably a wise move. So, but that's interesting. So, how many on the Republican side? How many on the Democrat side? What are we looking at as far as the balance of? Are there any independents that are vying for this, or is it all?
As of right now, myself and Neil are really up until yesterday. Then another person, Steve Powers.
Okay.
I think he's in the district attorney's office in the 23rd district.
Okay.
But he lives, I think, in Montgomery County.
Okay. So he's thrown his hat into the ring as well, you think?
I think he has.
Okay.
I saw something on Clarksville Now. So I think there's three of us. It seems all three of us are Republicans.
Okay.
So,
but we don't know about the other side of the coin here?
no, have
Okay.
not heard.
Okay. Well, and with all that said, that's really, when we talk about the fact that the election's not until, the primary is not until May, the significance of it is the fact that there is going to be an appointee.
Absolutely.
And so that's going to bring it out into the news much more quickly. And you said, when is he retiring again?
August
The date- it's the end of
31st.
this month.
Yes.
It's the end of this month. So this is going to happen quickly because when you have district attorney, things kind of freeze up in the courts.
You have to have one.
Yeah, you have to. I mean,
Yes.
it's just something you can't go without. So, but well, I tell you. So what is your platform that you're running on? So
Well, what I'm running on is 14 years of experience prosecuting criminal cases. Like Danavan said in his lead-in, murders. I've concentrated on violent crime probably the last 12 years with the district attorney's office. Pretty heavy caseload. When you sit across from a family that have lost a loved one due to violence, you just develop a passion that you want to achieve justice for that family and to speak for the victims. So that's what I've done for the last 14 years. I bring that ability and talent to the position, and that's what I want to bring to the entire staff and build a staff and an office that we achieve justice for our victims. We're fair to the accused, but we have to make the community safer. So.
well, and I had now you're where are you from? Where do you live? Right
I live in Montgomery County.
That's what I thought. So how long have you always been there, or what's your background?
40 years.
Okay.
I grew up and was born in Washington, D.C.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How many years you spend there? The swamp, man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I think when I was 14, we packed up to...
I didn't know they raised Republicans there, but I'm just saying. That's a good thing. I'm just saying because I mean it's
No,
kind
they have to
of
import them.
it's kind of blue, you know.
It
but
is
anyway.
very blue.
Yeah.
But we packed up 2 U-Haul trucks and we moved to Clarksville. My brother was a service member at Fort Campbell.
Awesome.
And he said, this is a nicer place to live than Washington, D.C. And
We agree.
he was absolutely correct. So we drove in a driving rainstorm in 2 U-Haul trucks to get here, and I've been here ever since.
And what age were you again?
I was 14.
14. That's fun. So that's a cool story. So your brother comes down here. He's in the service.
Yes.
And he's like, Fort Campbell, he going, y'all need to move down here. I
That's
love
right.
that. That's great.
Right. Y'all
That's
need
great.
to move down here.
That's awesome. I love it. And so he called the family and said, come on.
Come on down.
So what'd your family do when they got here? I mean, what's the background of the family?
My mother and father were disabled
Okay.
and had some health issues. So it was just me being a teenager. Once
They were
we
just
got
trying
a
to get you into a better place.
better situation.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
And they did. So,
That's very cool. Absolutely. Where'd you go to school?
Northeast High School,
Northeast High. Well, I'm college. Where'd you study?
Austin P.
Austin P. Oh
Yes.
yeah, I kind of had a feeling. I don't know.
Austin P.
I kind of had a feeling. I
Yes.
kind of had a feeling. So, but I'm glad to meet you, and I appreciate Donovan coming up with the idea to bring this out here because I've really kind of checked out of of all the news stuff right now, and so I have really not been paying attention. When I tell you that, I'm dead serious. I have not, because it's not my job right now. So whenever he mentioned the fact that there's going to be an appointee and stuff, that brings it to the forefront.
Yep.
And so that makes it a little more important. I know that Neil had asked me about it. When I was serving as chairman at the Robertson County party. So I knew there was a lot of interest because they anticipated the retirement, and so
Right.
this has been something. Have you been watching this for a little while? Is this something you decided to do a couple of years ago? When did you decide to run?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I've had it on my mind for
Yeah.
the last 5 or 6 years.
I get
really.
it. I get it. I ran for Congress because I thought about it for 10 years, and all of a sudden I was like, well, I better run now. I probably won't ever get a chance to run again.
Right.
So, you just do what you think you're supposed to do. And running for an office is tough, man. I mean, it's
very interesting. I'll tell you
that's
that.
a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. It was a fabulous experience, but you got to have money. That's just part
Yeah,
of it.
you
do. I don't know how much more. I just can't imagine in your race what it would be. I ran for Congress, so I mean that was daunting. I mean the money you have to run for those kinds of offices is insane. So I can't imagine how that compares to what you have to do for something like this, because this is just 2 counties that you have to cover, correct?
Yes.
For this office, so you cover the 2 counties. So that scales it back a little bit, but still, if you want to make sure you get your name out there. Because all of you guys are new.
Yeah.
So it's like, who's going to get their message out there?
That's right.
So you need some help with that? Do you want people to kind of come alongside you and help you out with it?
Sure.
So this is a good opportunity to say, hey.
Everybody can go to votenash.com.
Uh-huh.
Has some more of my biography and other things. And, of course, there's a donate button there.
Ah.
And you can donate to help.
That's right.
Also, phone number. You can send me emails, so forth.
Well, and if you have questions, because when it comes to something like this, people are going to have questions. I imagine people kind of corner you and really pepper. What's the toughest question you've been given since you entered the campaign trail? What's the toughest question you've been given? Can you think about that? I'm totally catching him off guard. I didn't prepare him for this. So I tell you what, you think about that. Let me go ahead and do a break here. Let me do one of my breaks, and while you're thinking about that, we're going to talk about my friends over at Corbin Creek. Just love talking to them, love visiting with them. She put up Amy Corbin, who I'm talking about, yesterday. I watched their Facebook because I just love the greenhouses. I love their spirit and their attitude. And she put up on Facebook yesterday on social media, basically saying something weighing your mind today. Stop and stroll the greenhouse for a bit. We promise you'll feel a little bit lighter when you leave. And I love that. And she put up that they're open until 5 p.m. And if you're just kind of stressed out and you just want to go stroll through the greenhouses, do that. That smell is one of those things, is just one of those memories of my childhood. I grew up on a farm. My mother was just fabulous when it comes to flower gardens and things like that. And so we would always go to the greenhouses, and there's just a smell and a feel that just brings back beautiful childhood memories for me. So I just love going and hanging out in those greenhouses. She'll tell you they've got the drip going on their mums right now because they're bringing those along, because in a minute, it'll be just a minute, we're going to all be putting mums around our house because we're going to be stepping into fall. I know it's hard to believe right now because it's so super hot, but it won't be long. And so she's getting ready for all of that. And they're always ready for whatever season it happens to be for your garden and your lawn needs. So that's the place to go. Corbin Creek Greenhouse, Gifts, Nursery, and Gardening Center. And of course, they'll be at the farmers market on Saturday. You've got 3 more farmers markets, guys. Got to get out there and check out some great deals, great produce, and you can see Corbin, and of course they'll have their CBD products. I am stunned that I think this, I was floored when I started using CBD because I was so skeptical, and I have been so surprised at what a difference it's made. Yesterday I had just a long day, and you know how you kind of come in and just kind of achy, and I was like, man, I'm taking CBD so I sleep, and I sleep like a baby. And if you have sleep issues and things like that, if you're an arthritis sufferer, I can't say enough for it. I've already had I've had both of my hips replaced. I've got that much arthritis, so it is something I have to deal with. And the CBD has helped me. It may be able to help you. So go and get Robertson County CBD. Bill grows the plants. That's what's processed into the oil. That's what you're going to get at Corbin Creek. Get by there Monday through Saturday, 9 to 5, Sunday from 1 to 5. You can reach them on the phone, 615-384-3185, 615-384-3185, 4920 Highway 161. Always please tell them that U-Turn sent you. So I posed the question before I paused for a moment. What's the toughest question you've got that you want to share? I mean, we all get questions you're like, okay, I'm just going to ignore that because that's stupid. But I'm sorry. On the campaign trail, you get those questions. I can say it. I'm not campaigning right now, but you get those questions and you just think, oh my word, you can vote. And, you know, and you just think, why can that person vote? Because they have no clue. But I'm sorry, I digress. The views and opinions are my own and don't necessarily express the views of the radio station. Anyway, toughest question.
Well, there's a few I can't.
Yeah. Oh, I totally get that. Yeah.
You know, what are you going to do with this? What are
Yeah. Gotcha.
But there was a question. I was at a breakfast, and the guy said, "You're not going to be easy on these criminals, are you?" And so I went through a story and told him about a case of mine and what the sentence was, and he goes, "Okay."
Yeah.
You know,
very good.
You're not going to be easy. I said, no, not on certain things. You just can't.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, a lot of people ask, what are you going to do? And then you just fill in the blank with whatever their topic is. And some of it, you know, you don't know until you're faced with it.
Right.
Now, you have a general policy about how you approach prosecuting crimes. And then there's the actual case. So case-by-case basis, you have to face that. So a lot of it's tough answering some questions because it's all hypothetical out here until we get an actual case. And then, you know, the facts determine how we proceed, the evidence and so forth. But as a general rule, I have certain stances on different areas of crime and law enforcement and prosecution. So,
have you worked much with Judge Joel Perry here in town? He's in our recovery court. I mean, well, he's not our. I have him in all the time talking about recovery court, but he's our judge here in town, and so I love his approaches. I guess the reason I bring the judge up is because he has this. There's a compassion to him, but a accountability. Right. Compassionate accountability, I think, is what I would say about Judge Joel Perry. And I want people to be tough, but I want compassion and accountability because I think you need to remember that in many regards.
Absolutely.
What would you say to that?
Absolutely. Yeah. And there, you know, in our criminal code, there's a whole host of, let's just call them crimes, where you can show leniency,
right,
and compassion,
right,
without necessarily prison and harsh sentences. And then there are some where you just have to prosecute them fully. You know, violent crime, which is what I've done. Pretty much my whole career has been prosecuting. I would just call it the worst of the worst imaginable crimes.
Well, in that anticipation of trying to get the people off the street that need to be off the street, I think about the young man that the nurse that was shot driving to work up in Nashville. He should not have been out on the street. And so some people would take what I just said about compassionate accountability and they're like, oh, we're being compassionate. That young man displayed violence again and again and again, should not have been on the street. So I'm not talking about that. I mean, I'm talking about people, the violent offenders, man, you've got to be real with that kind of stuff. But then you have people that just kind of, you call them the knuckleheads that what are you thinking? And you want to try to help them rehab. You want to try to have that opportunity to get to restart. You know, sometimes that's where I come in on compassionate accountability, not with these people who are obviously violent, who obviously need to be off the street. I guess I want common sense in my district attorney.
That's right.
Can you bring common sense to the table?
I sure will. and I have demonstrated that over my career. You don't hear about the cases that you extend rehab to someone. I have many years ago, and I didn't extend rehab. There was just too much drugs involved. But there was a young man that was in a gang, and had started out. They were distributing cocaine and manufacturing crack and distributing it. And it was a large amount. And they were arrested. And I gave him leniency, but he had to serve some time in prison.
Right.
After he finished, he was paroled and completed his sentence. I seen him probably 6 months ago. He was coming out of a Dunkin' Donuts, and I was going in. And he stopped and paused. I recognized him. He recognized me. He goes, "You know who I am?" I said, "Yeah." Well, he asked me, "Are you Mr. Nash?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "You know who I am?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, it's all right." He goes, "It was the best thing that happened to me."
Oh, wow.
He said, "Now I'm an engineer over here at a company." So, there's a lot of stories like that. Now,
That's awesome.
I was kind of harsh. He had to go to prison. I think he spent a year and a half.
Oh, that's really nothing in the grand scheme of things to get your head together.
But the path he was taking, gang affiliation, violence, drugs. I mean, you have to make these decisions, Laverne and Danavan, when you're a prosecutor. And believe it or not, we don't just want to throw everybody that comes in prison, but we want to never see them again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's our goal. And just like, I liked seeing him that day.
Sure.
Because that was nice. It makes you feel good.
Yeah.
There's another, I pulled up into a Wendy's and seen a young lady. She goes, "Mr. Nash, you remember me?" I said, "Yes." She goes, "Oh, I appreciate everything you did for me." Now, her boyfriend was a drug dealer, and he didn't want to get caught, so he would send her to go make his deliveries for him. And she was arrested and stopped because they were watching him.
Right.
And I put her on a diversion. And then she come back and she violated diversion. She was pregnant, and she was testing positive for cocaine while she was pregnant. So I looked at her and I said, "You're going to sit in jail until that baby's born. So you're not going to have any way to use any drugs to hurt that baby." And sure enough, she did. That's kind of hard to.
I think that was a great decision.
And make someone have a child while they're in custody. But, for the safety of the child. And when I seen her at the Wendy's drive-thru, she said, I got a nice baby girl and all that, and things are going fine. So there's certain things we try to do within the system. It's a terrible rehab system, okay? It's designed for punishment. Rehabilitation comes from the punishment. Back in the day, that's what the idea was. It's so terrible to be in confinement that you just don't want to do that no more. Well, it really doesn't work that way either. So we've tried to put a rehab prong in the criminal justice system.
I'm aware.
It's so we do some of those things, but those are some of the stories of just I have of people that I have seen later, and they appreciated the stance I took.
Yeah, I think discipline is compassion. Discipline is compassion, and that's what people don't realize. It's like, and that's why I kind of wanted to kind of double back and clarify what I meant by compassionate accountability. I'm saying sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do is to take and confine somebody and make them have that rock bottom. That's the thing. Sometimes you got to go rock bottom to completely turn lives around. And prison, I would think, would be rock bottom.
It would. You would think that, but you'd be surprised how many times it's their first offense, or give them a break. It was extraordinary circumstances and so forth. And you think by giving them the break, they would go, "Thank you for the break."
Yeah.
Now, some of them do, and we don't hear from them again. But then many think, "Oh, I just got away with that. I'm on probation."
Yeah.
And here they are again.
Yeah.
And again and again. So, it's a delicate process that we have to go through, deciding how we're going to dispose of cases. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just difficult to consider all the factors, like you said, the compassionate part, and also what does the public want from a district attorney. Mm-hmm. You can walk down the street and a bunch of them will say, lock them up, throw away the key. You've probably met some of those.
Oh, yes.
And then you have some that are they just need help, and it's their background and circumstances. So, we have to have the public have confidence in the district attorney's office. If they don't have confidence that we're going to prosecute, and again, especially the ones that we know and that they've demonstrated by their action that they can't live amongst civilized society. That's the way I put it.
Yeah.
They have to be locked away or they're going to cause harm to people. We have to
Right.
be able to identify them and remove them, and also show compassion and leniency to those who are just down on their luck. Maybe they, whatever reason, they have an addiction, that they need help. So, that's the balancing of the district attorney's
Right.
office.
Right.
So,
Well, and that's why I recommend, again, really getting to know Judge Joel Perry because of his involvement with recovery court and things like that, and the people who they've been able to help find a new path. And so I'm just very glad to get to meet you. Donovan, do you have some questions? You're sitting there writing feverishly. So I need to hush and say, okay, Donovan, what do you want to ask?
Well, I mean, really,
Robert.
this is just, I'm so excited to be just sitting here with you guys and just taking notes for my personal
Okay.
growth. That's really what's going on here.
Yeah.
There were a few questions that came to my mind. And before I even get into the official questions, when it comes to criminal infractions, have you become, I learned this word recently, jaded in your line of work and lost energy to look at each case, with a fresh eye, or or if you do, how do you refresh yourself if you need to each day, to go through these cases and dispose of them, with the highest integrity and efficiency possible? That makes sense, Mr. Matt.
yes. Well, I haven't lost the energy or the passion for this job, or I certainly wouldn't be seeking to be the district attorney.
Yeah.
No, every case you open, you look at it from those facts, those people. Now, can they be similar at times to other cases? Sure. But you're dealing with different people, a different defendant, a different victim in cases of violent crime, or just different background for the defendant. You have to take all those things in consideration if you get to learn them. A lot of that's up to the defense attorney to let us know about the defendant,
I see.
other than just this crime that was committed.
So
Okay.
actually getting to know the defendant and their story kind of does help with the decision process?
Of course.
Gotcha.
The only way, in my opinion, to treat people fairly is to treat them different. Mm-hmm. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not cookie cutter. Mm-hmm. It should never be. So I asked my defense attorneys when they have some, I said, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Will you consider that? And I just ask them, tell me why I should consider that. Mm-hmm. Tell me about them. Okay? So, because you want to know. Compassion comes from information, right? Once you learn about something. If you learn about an individual, what caused them to do this thing, is that justified? Does it have any merit? Are you just asking me this just to let them off? I don't like to do that. But if there are reasons to extend leniency and so forth, then yes, we do consider it. The bottom line with our system, everybody can't go to prison. Okay? We just don't. We have to find other ways to dispose of cases. Every case can't go to trial or the system would crash. So we have to plea bargain and so forth. Just have to do it or the system just crumbles. It would lock up. So, but we have to have information. I mean, we have the police information, right?
Right.
Okay, so we know what this is. We know what the case is. Now, I need to know about the defendant. So that's where, his representation or her representation comes in. And that's when we can start to talk about leniency and compassion and so forth.
And not get jaded. That was kind of, and not get jaded is like you take each one individually. Because, I mean, in anything you do,
Yep.
I work with homeless people. It's hard to not get jaded sometimes, because, I mean, it's just like, you just want to shake them.
I asked my wife, because again, for the last 12 years, she sees some of the materials I bring home to prepare for certain things. And I ask her every now and then, do you see this affecting me? Because, the things,
question.
The things I've seen, just the subject matter of, death and destruction and I ask her. So periodically I ask her, just, do you see this? She says no. So as of right now, it hasn't where I walk in every room and go murderer, murderer, murderer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not that far gone. But now I do it for people like you two and anybody else I meet. Just maybe that little thing that I do, that person that I put in prison or prosecute,
Right.
he won't be able to do it again, or she won't be able to do it again to someone.
Right.
So, I mean, that's the passion where it comes from. I mean, it's not like we get bonus at the end of the month, or it's nothing like that. I mean, you have to want to do this work.
I imagine. I love that you ask your wife. I think that's a good question. I think that's very wise. Is to ask the person closest to you. Say, hey, am I okay? I think that's great. Are you a person of faith?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, we're gonna get some Jesus.
Yeah.
We're gonna get some Jesus on you in here. This is a
no.
Christian station, so that's the
Yes.
that matters to me and who I vote for.
Well,
it matters vitally to me that you're a believer in Jesus Christ. So,
absolutely. I mean, that would take another show.
For sure.
And I can tell you, I've had several conversations and prayed. I've had things in my life in the past where I had to reach to him because there was just, and again, that's a different show. That's a little bit more background that we can go into now. But I turned to the Lord a long time ago, and He pulled me through.
Well,
I know for a fact, and I don't want to get too off in the weeds.
No, you're fine. You're fine. We're going to have to wrap it up here pretty quick, though, but go ahead.
But I know He pulled me through several instances with my family and what had happened to them and the health and so forth, but I know He pulled me through.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt.
Well, see, and as we go along, to May, we can have you guys in again, and would love to, because I find you very interesting, and we can explore that a little bit more. I would love to explore that question. We should have asked that a little bit sooner. I do need to pause and do a break, though, real quick, and then we'll come back and wrap it up. We're with Robert Nash, Danavan Hylton. Robert is running for the district attorney that will be appointed here because we've got retirement happening, and so there's going to be an appointment, but then the primary will happen in May that he's first going to be a part of, and then the election in August. But I do need to pause and talk about Barry and Rebecca Richards with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team, and I don't bring them up without mentioning Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival is coming up August 27th and 28th because Barry is on the board. You've got Rebecca and Barry are both sponsors. She was one of the first sponsors of the festival, and it is going to be great. There's going to be a special junior fiddle competition that's happening on Friday night. It's to honor Dan Kelly. There's so much we could talk about about Dan and the lineup for the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival, but I do need to also mention that if you're looking for realtor help, no matter if you're on the buying side, if you're on the selling side, whatever side of it you're on, you need good representation. Rebecca's been at this a long time. She's got all the legalese taken care of. She can take care of you and cross all those T's and dot all those I's. Barry is a marketer. He was a vice president of a marketing company, went full-time with real estate a few years ago. So if you want to be one of these properties that people are paying above and beyond what it's worth and what it's going to appraise for, people kind of know it's for sale. That's why you need a marketer. Isn't it cool that you got a real estate team that's got a marketer on the team? Barry and Rebecca, they're a great team, good friends of mine. You can connect with them at sellwithbecky.com, sellwithbecky.com, or buyrobertsoncounty.com. But don't let that fool you. They do buy and sell in the surrounding counties, across the state line up in Kentucky, but you can see what they specialize in Robertson County at buyrobertsoncounty.com. Again, connect with them at sellwithbecky.com and see them at the Kilgore Station Bluegrass Festival, August 27th and 28th. I'll be there as well. I get to host that again. Cannot wait. I'd say, Robert, that'd probably be a good event for you to come out and shake a few hands.
I agree.
I would just tell you, I got a feeling I will see you there. Would that be a fair assumption?
That's
would that be a fair assumption? I'll just give you a poster there.
Thank
you. I think that's probably where we'll see you. But anything else that we need, we're right at the top of the hour, but we can take a moment just to kind of wrap up. Anything that we're missing that you want to say? You want to have any parting thoughts, either one of you, before we wrap it up?
No, I just want to say thank you for having me. I would like to extend some get well wishes to Dr. Arlen Smith.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he's been battling some COVID, and but I see him on Facebook
He's
doing
good.
things, so I hear he's doing better.
Yeah, he's definitely, and mentioning that, keep praying for Phil Valentine, good friend, and I just, there's no update, just really battling. COVID's such a weird thing. It really just, it's so different for everybody. Yep. And, Phil's lungs took a beating. So, he needs good healing from the great physician. So just keep praying for all those guys. And Donovan, thank you. I'll see you next Wednesday as well.
Yes. Thank you for allowing us to stop by today.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. This has been a lot of fun. And tomorrow will be, of course, Thursday. Today's Wednesday. Can't keep striking my days. Haley Bryant's going to be in here tomorrow morning. I am so excited. She is going to be playing at the Warehouse this weekend on Friday night, and I'm planning on going by and seeing her. But love little Haley Bryant, young lady fronting the band and all on her own. Well, and we'll talk more about that tomorrow. But Haley will be in here, and going to look forward to visiting with them. Ace Timbermeyer and Brian Pulley will be here from United Way as well at 7:30. It's going to be a great show. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us. This is 1100 WSGI.
She's better than gold. The day that my whole life changed was the moment I laid eyes on her. The way she took my breath away. I felt so hard and fast it hurt. She made me